Hi, my name is Sunil Yadav. I'm sure you're familiar with the name by now, 3-4 times they've announced. I handle the AR vertical here, that's AR management. For maybe, of course, everybody know what AR is, but for the beginners, it's account receivable management, where we deal with the invoices which are yet to be paid by the customers of our client, and we help them bring that money home. So that's what they do, and there are, of course, various nitty-gritties that goes into this process. So I'll try and explain those things, not in that detail. I would have, but now I have 5 minutes less, so so I would try and do that. So please do come back with any questions or any clarifications that you sought from me, and I'll be happy to address that. First of all, we'll start with who we are. As of now, we are a 54-member strong team, so contributing to around 10% of the total FAO workforce. We are located at 4 locations. Majority, these are 4 hub points that we are talking about. That is north. When we talk about north, it's Gurgaon or HO. East is the Kolkata location. West, it's mainly Mumbai. And we talk about south, that it's about Bangalore and Chennai. So, and we also have 15 support function people who are located at various locations across those 22 locations which Sandeep and Saurav has already spoken about. These are support functions. They are majorly there to support one process of HCL, which I'll describe how it works. So this is what we are in terms of people for now. We talk about skills. So in this 54-member team, if you talk about the education-wise, that how well the team is educated, then all, I would say, the managers and the leaders, the education goes up to the post-graduation and above. And for all the below, I would say, the resources that we have, either it's a JM or a TL or an executive, necessarily to be a graduate, preferably a commerce graduate. If we talk about the experience, then for leadership, we have an average experience of 11 years and above. And for anything JM and below, the experience is 5 to 4 years on an average, because it's a huge workforce, so it is that ways. And as far as the expertise goes, in terms of this entire workforce, we are pretty much expert when we talk about enterprise AR management. When we talk about O2C cycle, that is order to cash. When we talk about dispute resolution in the AR. When we talk about working on the dashboard designing, when we talk about working on conflict management, credit control, this all falls under AR management. So we do, I would say, feel ourselves as an expert in these areas, and of course, we try to deliver on the expertise also. When we talk about the core strengths, so if we talk about the efficiency, the total AR that is being dealt with by this team is approximately 2,750 crores. The total number of customers that we are dealing with, when we talk about customers, it means they are customers to our clients. So these runs into approximately 5 to 5,500 customers that we are dealing with. Number of receipts, when I'm talking about number of receipts, it means we have a small piece of AR SSC that we work in. Not a small, I would say a piece of AR SSC that we are working in. We do cash application there for HCL as a client. There we have approximately 13,000 receipts that our team accounts for every month. Balance confirmation, these are client specified balance confirmation. It is not that we are working on the entire AR of 2,750 crores for balance confirmation. These are specific balance confirmation that client has asked us to bring in. That amounts to close to 25 crores in a quarter. Invoice submission, when we if invoice submission, we are doing invoice submission for one of our client here for huge, it's a telecom client. They deal in VSAT and provide bandwidth and AMC services to the enterprise customers. So for them, our process works from invoice to cash application. Once the invoice is generated, we submit those invoices, of course, with all kind of relevant documents. If you talk about installation certificates or PODs and everything. So those invoice submission goes in approximately 5,000 invoices per quarter. That's an approximate figure.
What is balance confirmation?
Balance confirmation is that it's a client specified confirmation. There are few AR which in the end of the quarter our client wants us to bring a balance confirmation from their customer, where customer agrees that I owe this much of amount to you, and in a due course of time it will be paid back to you. That's a balance confirmation.
It's basically to avoid disputes.
It's basically
It's
to
an
avoid disputes.
acknowledgement
Yes,
that you'll pay.
yes. It's also from the provisioning point of view. Quarter end, I'm gonna do my provisioning of the bad debts, and if these debts are going into bad, so if I get a balance confirmation, a CFO would somehow feel okay to not to consider them as a bad debt. So that's also one of the motive of this exercise. Effectiveness, how effective we are doing it. So as of now, our ARSSC is working on a 5 sigma level of accuracy, which translates into 233 errors per million opportunity. Around a year ago, I would not say a year ago, approximately 8 months ago, it was running on a 4 sigma level, which was approximately 6,500 errors in per million. So if you see the kind of improvement they have done, approximately I would say they have brought down the errors, they have cut the errors down by 30, not 30%, I would say 0.3% or whatever is a 3%, I would say. So that's what the ARSSC in terms of cash application is running for now. Overdue AR, we are also handling, we also have Alcon as a client. It's a part of Novartis Group company. We are specifically working on an exercise where we are trying to control their overdue AR. It does not include collecting the AR, but yes, it includes setting up the ecosystem around that AR so that it does not go beyond a certain level at what it is right now. It talks about, let's say, if I'm talking about the ecosystem, so we are talking about the coordination between the various functions within the company and outside the company. They have a collection agency which is already working for them. So the support functions within the company, you can call about service department, you can talk about sales department. So these both departments have to coordinate with each other, have to speak with each other so that an efficient AR recovery can happen. At the same time, when their external collection agency is working on it, so they also need to coordinate very closely with these two departments, because customer would come up with lots and lots of queries. You know, I was promised this by salespeople, I was promised this by your service people, you're not giving me the delivery, so I'm not paying you the money. So our support comes there in terms of bringing these departments closer on a I would say on a table that, okay, let's talk about big accounts, let's talk about where your maximum AR is stuck up. So they have close to 4,000 customers across India. We have taken out approximately 640 customers, which contributes to 80% of their total overdue AR. So that is basically the pain area of the client, I would say, and also the pain area of the collection agency, because when they are not able to collect, so they are also getting the beating from client, that is Alcon, that why the overdue AR is going that much higher, and so as the DSOs, of course. So our main job is to conduct these meetings pan India. So they have 7 zones across India. So we have deployed our people across these zones. So they coordinate sales, services, and their collection agency, which is an outsource agency, together, talk about account by account, go with the kind of disputes, with the kind of problems, the kind of help they are needing from Alcon, or the kind of efforts that Alcon expects from the collection agency to deliver. So we bring onto the same page, we document the things, we talk about the action points, we formulate the action plan, we decide who's gonna be completing the action plan, we give them an action date, and then we follow it up internally. That's our job, to ensure that those action points are happening within the time frame that was agreed during the meetings. If they do not happen, then we escalate internally towards Alcon and towards the collection agency also, up to a level of director or a CEO, wherever it is applicable. That's what we do for Alcon. So with that exercise, their overdue AR is being controlled. When we started working, it was approximately 50 CR. Yeah, it was approximately 51 CR. We started working on it in approximately in, I would say, in March, beginning of the March, this specific exercise. Otherwise, engagement with Alcon is more than 1 year or 2 year old. And currently it is at 55 CR. Yes, it's 4 CR up. However, their trend is to go approximately 10 to 15 CR up almost every month. So it is being controlled with the measures. No, I'm talking about the overdue. So one is a total outstanding, one is out of that how much is supposed to be paid by customer as per the credit terms. So that part is the pain area in terms of DSOs and all. So that is what we are trying to handle and we are trying to control for the clients.
So that's going up at 10-15 crores every month.
Yes, roughly at that rate it does go up. Yes, so
Managed to control that.
we are trying to control it. So since it has started in March, so the entire processes around it is not that mature, but we are working on a very faster pace so that it becomes mature, and there are other aspects also which are working around it, which I will talk about in next slides. In terms of what do we do exactly, so we offer consultation services, the kind of, not exactly the kind of services I was describing in the previous sheet, it's much beyond that. So when I was talking about that we are trying to control the overdue AR, so that cannot be controlled by simply, I would say, putting up the people and talking to sales and talking to collection staff, bringing them together, thrashing up the issues. Because what's going to happen is it would not set the process right, it would set that event right, it would set that instance right, but it would not fix the process for future. So what we are doing for them and what we do for clients also, provided we have that opportunity, we have designed a credit policy for them, which is into the implementation stage. That credit policy, of course, is customized to their business. They are into pharma business, so what kind of dynamics in pharma right now in the market are running, what kind of credit term people are expecting, how customer behaves in that industry, if you talk about doctors, clinics, or let's say medical stores or stockists. So that credit policy is designed across these variables, which is supposed to serve our client as a tool to control their credit risk in the market. So this is a governing, I would say, a body of the exercise that we are doing currently. So the exercise that we are doing is right now meant to elevate the customers who are not paying or a bit of a defaulter for now to a level where we can apply this policy. Because if I apply this policy right now, so there can be consequences from sales point of view that the credit policy would force sales to stop supply to certain customers, which could be, which may be strategically a very important customer from sales point of view. They are not paying, that's a different ball game altogether, but from sales and revenue growth point of view, they are key customers from business objectives point of view. So now what those 639 customers we have chosen also from this point of view, that these are the customers who are the sales drivers. We need to pull them up to a level where they should not be affected the moment I apply the credit policy. Otherwise, of course, nobody would like to lose the sales. So a credit policy is an enabler of a good sale. It's not an object between you and your growth, for sure. So that's why we are doing this exercise, which I described to you guys in the previous slide. This credit policy gonna be a governing mechanism that if we fix those customers for once, and how would we make sure they're gonna be fixed for a longer period to come. There would be exceptions for sure, they would be dealt with for sure, but this is what we are working on for our clients. We also provide our consultation services as far as the SOPs go, as far as the process management goes, which we also did with the Alcon client that I've just now spoken to you about in detail. Gap analysis and mitigation planning, this we have also done with Alcon, we have also done with Hughes. When we talk about gap analysis, so it could either be a target versus achievement gap, it could either be the process gaps, it could either be, for example, if I have agreed on certain kind of SLAs with my client and those SLAs are something which I am not able to achieve repeatedly, one-off exception, as I said, is okay, but if that's happening repeatedly, then why is it happening? RCA of those kind of gap, analyzing those gaps and applying the measures so that it can be contained. That's what we do as a consultation services. Then we have backend services. As I just explained, it's an ARSSC which deals into cash application. Cash application, if somebody is not aware, it's a way of when you collect monies from the customer, then how do you put it back into the accounting system? How do you post it into the ERP so that your entire AR looks more uniform, more agile and more true to what it is currently? invoice-wise knocking off in the crude terms. That's what we do. Also in this backend operation under the ARSSC vertical only, we are also doing the reconciliation for our customer, for our client. These are need basis reconciliation. We currently we do not have a process which says that we have to reconcile a customer every month or every 2 months. It's not that we are not capable of having that process. It's just that customer made the SLA in a way, our client, that they want us to do the need basis reconciliation. It is not a uniform process. So they might come up with 10 reconciliation in a month. They might not come up with a reconciliation for 3 months. So it happens. Then we have a call to collect desk. This is a specific desk, one resource, experienced resource working on this desk. We'll talk about this desk in detail in the case study that I've made for you guys. We have invoice printing. Here, once the invoices are generated in the ERP, our team job is to print the invoices on a daily basis vis-a-vis the incremental data that has come in into the ERP as far as the AR is concerned. Print the invoices, attach the documents, submit the documents to the customer. It can either via courier, it can either via by hand, depending upon the type of customer and depending upon the type of submission of invoices a customer expects from my client. This is not just a paper printing job and stapling it and submitting to the customer. This also includes a very important piece which we call BQA, that is billing quality analysis. After invoice generation and before submitting to the customer, our team goes through the entire invoice, which are prone to mistakes, because we came to know about these invoices that which are prone to mistakes because of our experience in this process in last 3 to 4 years, at what all invoices of a particular customer or the invoices for a particular service or the invoices of a particular region can have issues. For example, a hardware invoice would not have much of an issue. You bought a laptop from me, I sold a laptop to you, 43,000 bucks, there is no issue. But at the same time, if we talk about AMC, then there can be issues because you agreed to give me 2 years of warranty and you have started billing the AMC after 1 year. So there can be issues. So my team job is to compare the invoices vis-a-vis the PO in terms of, when we talk about PO, so they do match the invoices from, first of all, they do a reconciliation which we call terms of trade reconciliation. It means whatever was agreed in a PO or a contract, so is the invoicing, billing, AR has been generated in the same lines or not. For example, if I bought, my client deals into VSATs, the big satellite dishes, if you have seen, the moment you insert your debit card in an ATM, it throws back lakhs of rupees to you. That's my client working for you 24/7. So they provide those services to the bank. So if I am selling a VSAT to a bank, so that's for sure that bank would not pay me 100% of the value right after, let's say right with the PO as an advance payment. They may have the terms like milestone billing that, okay, I'll pay you 10% with the PO, 40% on the dispatch, remaining 50% on delivery or installation, whatever. So this team does a terms of trade reconciliation, which means when I was supposed to get paid 10% as an advance, did we get paid or not? If we got paid that 10% as an advance, did we raise those invoices for 10% or not? If we have raised it, are those adjusted or not into the system? Because we already received the money.
How is it done?
First of all, the entire PO dump into the system, as I said, the team works on a daily basis on the incremental data that comes out of the ERP.
It's
That these
manually
are,
done or is a platform?
no, as of now, there is no platform. It's manually done. The client has approximately 300 customers. Out of these 300 customers, they have selected customers, which are approximately 10% of the total population, that is 30 customers, for which this exercise happens. Because these 30 customers contributes to 80% of their revenue.
Yeah, manually you have so many transactions, you can miss something, right? Whether invoice was done or not, as per every milestone, for every invoice, payment has come or not, all that manually if you want to control.
Yes, there are.
It will crack.
Sure, there are chances, and I'm not saying it's a foolproof process. Even after going through the BQA, there are queries which comes from the customers. However, there are not even, I would say, 10% of what other invoices get queries from the customer, which are not filtered through BQA process. Yes, it's a manual process, We did try and offer a tool and a platform to the client, which client rejected outright that, okay, this is not exactly my priority. My invoices are correct. So I would say this initiative that we have taken is to also make a case that it's not about that you have all the invoices correct. There are issues. If you see, other than those 30 customers, you have more issue coming in and the payments are delayed by multiple months. And if you talk about these 30 days, these 30 customers, it's only the invoice submission that is delayed by a couple of weeks because we are checking it. But once it's submitted, the payment comes very fast. So it's also a case that is in the making, that you do need that. It's not about you don't need it. So they check the invoicing if it has happened, and after that they check the invoicing if it is correct or not. PO terms, invoicing, unit, rates, if some special documents were to be submitted, they check everything and then they dispatch those invoices. So this term contains a bit more than what it is written right here. Then we have field services, which is majority into collection recovery. We do B2B collection recovery, B2C collection recovery. The terms explain itself. It's business to business and business to customer. Other than that, invoice submission. When we talk about invoice submission in field services, it means these are the submission which is happening by hand. There are multiple government customers, multiple corporate customers also who would request somebody to come along, somebody to come with the invoices and help them understand what exactly invoice is all about. Because if an invoice is for 1 crore or 2 crores and it's a one-page invoice, so finance would have a lot of queries to talk about that invoice. So person goes with the invoices and submit those invoices. Then we have automation and MIS. This we have started working and almost on a final stage with one of our clients, that is Alcon. We have designed a dashboard for them, which we call it AR Matrix Dashboard, which provides them a 360-degree view of how their AR is behaving and performing month on month. It talks about total outstanding. It's talk about what kind of overdue do you have. It talks about the increment in the overdue, outstanding and the DSO and why that increment is there. How much of AR is there in the bad debts? It means what kind of grave, I would say, credit risk that you're running into. How much of the AR that you've already written off. So it has all the information in one Excel sheet. Earlier they had 23 separate reports for them. Right now they have one. So we have consolidated that in one. We're also working on an advanced tool for them as far as controlling the AR MISs, and from the credit policy point of view also. That's a cloud-based technology. It is developed, I would say, in association with another firm with us. So it's a pretty powerful tool. I would not be able to showcase it here, but later, of course, when we'll have chance sometime, so we'll showcase it to you. It is a pretty powerful tool, talks about the entire 5,000-6,000 customer, talks about all the invoices, zone-wise bifurcation. So the sales and the collection people can have a real-time update on what is the AR right now for their zone and which are the customers they have to concentrate into. Because, if you talk about sales, their core job is not to collect. Their job is to sell. So if you throw them a data point of 100 customers in a line with 1,000 invoices, they won't be able to help you. You need to be very objective when you ask help from the department, which are really not doing what you are supposed to do. It means if my job is to collect, and if I really want to take help from a salesperson, so I cannot give him the report which I see from my perspective, because he would not have that perspective. So he should be given an objective report that, okay, this is the AR, these are the 4 customers, please help. Then it might be an effective thing and they might be able to help you. So we are working on that tool, which is almost ready. We'll showcase it the moment we'll have time with you. So this is the org structure for my vertical. We call it our most valuable asset for sure, for every process. It has me handling the entire ops that I'm reporting into Karan, who in turn is reporting into Saurav. I've got AR SSC here at CL, and Alcon AR is a 5-member team for now, 6-member, I'm sorry. And this is Huge AR, which deals from invoice to cash application. It's got 2 managers and the different teams working under them for North, East, West and South.
Why have you mentioned the client's name there?
The reason I mentioned it here because I just wanted to show you that okay, we are working on 3 clients here. That's the reason there are separate teams working on all the clients. So it was also to give an introduction of the clients in this meeting. So that's the reason.
But we have more clients than these 3.
In AR, if we talk about in AR SSC and AR vertical, these are the 3 clients that we are working on.
Relatively newer line of business for us. So we kind of started focusing as a separate line effective 2030. So it's like one large client is getting added almost every year, but now we have to kind of speed it up further. So as of now, these are 3 large clients into the bouquet. But yeah,
We have been able to cut down their AR or that
Yeah.
overdue AR and all. We've been able to.
That's right.
They have seen the value.
So in all the 3 clients, if you see the nature of our intervention has been very different. So in one client, we are only managing the field recoveries. In another client, we are managing entire back office, which is collection, accounting, etc. In a third client, we have written down the credit control policy, and now we are implementing it and also bringing in automation into it. These are 3 different clients, 3 different activities. Other than that, AR clients which are scattered as of now, like we are managing reconciliations as an activity for infrastructure company, which is Vayu. We are also managing activities where we are, let's say, responsible for TDS or C-form collection and things like that. So those are other activities, smaller assignments which are.
These are end-to-end 3 large.
These are end-to-end.
Where everything is taken care of.
Which is kind of, it's a out and out receivables business.
How many more slides are left?
After this one,
Sorry,
after this one more.
one more.
Yeah,
Okay, so 1 minute each slide to 2 minutes.
sure.
You can't survive more than that. I'll faint on the desk itself. here.
When did I start? Is it that long?
Heads are all on this desk.
At what time did I start? I'm sorry, I forgot the track.
Yeah,
Sorry?
you have handled it so well, we are looking at it 12 बजे से पढ़ रहे हैं.
I understand what you're saying. I'll complete that in 30 seconds. This is the volume handle that we are doing for these clients. Approximately, if you want me to go through this, I can go through this.
What happens is today in the market, how does where does customer see a value in this activity? Let's say. So because he's taken the examples, HCL, Hughes and Pharma. So both HCL and Hughes are having a similar kind of a setup wherein they are doing a B2B customer. Multi-variety of contracts with a single customer, networking, consulting, implementation, etc., multiple type of contracts. So complexity is large. So one customer like an SBI being serviced by any of the large IT company would have a challenge of connection from multiple geographies of SBI, dealing with multiple customers at SBI end. And then, so there he needs a network like us. So any CFO we approach, this is a very, this area is very sensitive with him, and he sees a real value add straight away if he brings us on board in the company. And mostly where he struggles is to make a model out of it. Because there is sales involved, there is business involved, and then there is finance involved. So where they face a challenge is कि आपको अगर हम fixed fee दे देंगे, आपने correction करी या नहीं करी, right?
It actually helps in the cash management.
Right.
That is in any company.
Right. And अगर हम आपको variable fee दे देंगे, then he is very happy with all it. Okay, because then it's straight away links to the performance, and he is happy to convince his shareholders about then how this assignment is adding value to it. So any medium to a large enterprise definitely takes interest in it. So all the, let's say, I'm just sharing an example, is all car rental companies lately I've seen who have just scaled up overnight, wherein they are doing B2B car rental services. They are struggling. Okay, so like an IT company, because again cars are being serviced across multiple geographies of the same client, then the flow of information to the client and then collection from the client. So this is another example. So that is the kind of,
There is also different kind of billing depending on the kind of cars they are providing.
yeah, so the level of cars, yeah, so that rate contracts are very different. So that's where we need, when you approach a customer, so AR is very strategic account. I mean, you can't, everybody and anybody will not give you that account. You have to understand his pain, where you can make a value add only then, and this is typically at a very, very large level. It's at a senior management level where this kind of decision is taken.
So we link our service to the variable model.
It's a
There'll be some
partly
fixed
and
fixed and then there is a variable
upside
as
is
well.
variable.
How much I'm able to help you collect and how soon.
That's right.
Based on that I can
Yeah.
make more money.
Yeah. Or I don't let your current receivable fall into the bucket of non-collectible. That's another variable one.
What happened that approximately 1.5 or 2 years ago, my client was facing a challenge that the smaller customers, which was around 40% of their entire customer base, was accumulating AR month on month, quarter on quarter basis, because they did not have that much of a sale, and they have around 500 customers in total. And every person who was in the field going and collecting these accounts were mainly focusing on the bigger accounts, because that's where their target gets completed, and that's where even business focus also, and they also review the collection field executives on the basis of those customers, because they know if we collect here, we are home. So these accounts, the remaining 40% accounts, started accumulating AR over a period of time, and when we finally looked into it as a real problem statement, it was approximately 100 million by then, which were already accumulated. So what we formulated for these kind of this kind of customers is we created a desk here, which I was mentioned in the earlier slide also. That's a call to collect desk, where we consolidated all these customers under one desk that is that operates out of our HO itself, and a manager directly looking into that desk. So that desk responsibility is to track the invoice from generation till cash application. They interact within our clients' departments if there is some query to be resolved. The desk interacts with the customer if there is some query to be resolved, how soon the collection can come. And the desk also ensures that whatever we have collected is being applied towards the current invoices, to the correct invoices. That's the broader work structure of what that desk performs. The benefit that came out of it is approx 40% of the accounts came out of the field, and my collection executives were able to focus on the bigger accounts with bit more time in hand. And these 40% account also came under the purview of review, which earlier was not happening, because nobody would spend, especially from the client's point of view, nobody would spend time in reviewing an account which has a total AR of 50,000 when they have a customer which has an AR of 1 crore and more than 10 customers that ways. So these customers also came under the review mechanism, which helped in controlling the overall AR, which went up to 100 million at one moment of time, to a significantly lower level. If we talk about last month's update, then in these 2 years, I would say approximately 100 or more than 100 million AR got billed and got collected in these accounts. And the AR right now is approximately 75 million, which is 25% less than what we started working at. And other intangible benefits are that each account is getting the concentrate. We started working on this activity in the end of 2012. That's beginning of 2013. That's when we started working on this activity. It's a 1% desk handling 40% of the total customer, contributing on an average 15% to the total collections. Higher contribution was approximately 25%, lower 10% ever. I'm talking about the entire history of this. So these were the broader benefits of this desk that we have incorporated.
You should define for a specific problem.
Yes. The smaller accounts, which were not getting that much of focus and work department.
It's your kind of scenario where projects are very complex, State Bank of India kind of example. So our people are generic skill set. No?
No.
how do you have a conversation? You know, you go to SBI, I'm sure you're going there as HCL, not as mine.
Yeah, that's a good
Right?
point that you brought up.
He'll throw some 20 jargons and say, "Ye nahi hua, wo nahi hua." So how do you communicate
Yeah.
with the end
So
customer?
what we are doing, in fact, we may end up starting a new project with HCL altogether for these kind of projects, for the government projects or the PSU projects or kind of SPI or what else, the BSNL,
Yeah.
large project, you know, and all that. So there, what we have got with us is an expertise in dealing with the government and PSUs now, which was not there earlier ever with us. So now what we have done is converted 3 clusters. One is the B2B, which is enterprise dealing, you know, where you have a PO and you can go and put your claim and get your money out. It's more of coordination. Second is and this call to collect is part of the B2B, where you can call up the right people and get your money out. Second is the B2C, which I spoke of, the doctors and all, which you can go after. That also is, I would say, fairly easier than the government one. And the third is a government one, where we have very specific people as of now in the team, which are, let's say, 3 or 4 people, who have experience of going to the government departments, their finance people, the table-to-table movement of the files, going up to the chief of, you know, those sections and dealing with them, and also understanding their procedures. You know, that let's say it's not a simple PO thing and all that. You have to go through the rigorous you know, chain of processes, and then you end up seeing your money. Now, these people, these 3 or 4 people have 2 skill sets. One, which is on the back end side, which is when the commercial agreement is taken up. Now, how to interpret that? So how do you convert that into a billing? So you know, a PO to a sales order journey. Alright, so how do you book your revenue? Let's say if I have an AMC kind of an agreement, or if I am a system integrator for, you know, let's say, and how will I account for that? So now, so we have some and a good skill set who is able to do all that interpretation and do a terms of trade reconciliation. And the second skill set is who is able to go to the government departments and deal with them on a case-to-case basis, that how do we crack this now? Front-end, interactive role. And both of these working in tandem is giving a solution. And that is what we have already shaken hands with HCL to provide them for their large projects, large government projects, where we are taking up the project details, the POs and the agreements and all that information to our backend, processing that information, coming out with the very objective statements that this is the way the billing should have happened, this is the way billing has happened. So the gap. So if you have gone ahead and built something which you should not have built, then we are going back to their team and saying that we need to kind of reverse it or do whatever it takes to, because this is not.
And the HCL sales team, they don't get involved
They
after we have taken over.
They will, as of now.
Or they already
Yeah,
put in a joint
because in case of HCL, the value is very large and the projects are old. But what the vision that we are setting, maybe in the newer projects, right from the beginning, the model is there that we be the front end and the back end as well, as far as the finance transaction is concerned. And their project bodies will kick in more from the ops point of view.
Thus, over a period of time, technology sector, infra sector, tower sector, telecom sector, pharma sector, now the teams have experienced and they understand the terms of the trade. They understand how the whole structure operates.
Yeah.
So we have now, like Sunil was talking about 50 people team. So that team has experienced all these sectors per se.
Level of getting more familiar with time.
Yeah, we started handling government. We were not sure how will we kind of go about it, and we ran into those issues where, you know, all that was not expected was happening. What was expected out of the client dealing, that was not happening. So, how do you deal with a special officer of a university?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a finance clerk of Indian Railways.
Yeah, and how in the meeting you will only end up talking everything else
Yeah.
but the payments, so we have gone through that
How to
cycle.
give jobs to many people.
Ah.
Create employment.
So today we handle most, let's say, most notorious government customers like Indian
Notorious?
Railways. Yeah, they do not. They generally do not talk to you in a fashion that you would expect them to talk. They do not talk about the payments, AR.
Absolutely.
But we are managing to get cash out of them. So it's Indian Railways, it's various education societies, it's defense establishments also like Bell. So we do that. Sandeep sir was like, so
I also agree.
yeah,
What do we do now?
I'm sure you would enjoy your food better now. So thank you for your tolerance, I would say. So,
No, but
thanks.
very nicely
Thanks.
talked.
Yes,